Yeah. I thought you was a fella. Thought it was either a fella.
Lesbian class know me. That's what I'm thinking of myself. Just before we start, was anyone flashed on the way here? Like flashed? Because I'm really sorry if you were. I was just like trying to prank my nan. Worst 30 seconds of my life. No, seriously, a friend of mine, my best friend, she kind of like reminded me about flashes the other day. And I was like, hang on, wait, hang on. Hold on. When was the last time I was flashed? Hands up if you were flashed recently. No, see, exactly. Where are all the flashes gone? Well, I mean, this is the UK, right? This is like the spiritual hub of sex pests. Pretty much the reason I got a visa. You can tell from my voice I'm not from around these woods. So I'm from Melbourne, and in Australia, oh, woo, I love that. I'm not woo anymore. I was woo, I'm not woo anymore. But in Australia, being a flasher is essentially like a really, it's a great full-time profession. Very highly respected. Unless you're a woman, of course, which, is on trend with Australians. Very misogynistic place to be for a woman. If you are a woman and you want to pursue a career in flashing in Australia, then you are kind of limited to sports events and heavy metal concerts. And this is very much the thing that you're supposed to do. This is kind of a little frowned upon, and this is a hate crime. Whereas if you're a man, this is kind of slightly weird. This is absolutely cheeky, and this is to be celebrated. Hey! We treat our flashes in Australia more like buskers. You flip a coin, they flash you some flesh. It works really well. Unless it's payday and your pockets are full of money. Does anyone know the Nick Cave Red Right Hand song? Yeah. Nick Cave, Melbourneian as well, wrote the song in Melbourne, all about flashes. I don't know whether you know that part of the history. And if you know the words, it goes, and the coins in my pocket go and jingle. Jungle, do you love me? And you would make it rain on payday, and you would throw your coins at the buskers, and they would flash you as hard as they could. And then the red right hand would get going. Sorry, Nick Cave, I don't think that'll ever get back to you, that one there. So my most formative sexual awakening memories are from sex pests. I mean, the first was when I was 5, but that story's a bit of a downer, so I don't think I'm going to go there. I moved to I didn't. I moved to Hobart when I was about 17, and our local flasher, because you have to apply for a license and they give you an area that you're allowed to flash. It's like a zoning rule or something. He had a cemetery. His name was Derek, and I used to visit Derek very often. Derek wasn't. He'd been doing it for quite a while, and I think, the love had gone from his career. He was very, very much toward retirement. He looked more like a pepperami in a wig. But I kind of imagined that things at home were a little tough, and he'd get home and his wife Gladys, and I imagine this is the conversation that would happen. I'd be like, oh, Gladys, I really need to retire. And she's like, no, I've got colostomy cooking on Monday. I've got Alzheimer's book club on Tuesday, and we've got knitting for terrorists on Wednesday. There's no way you can come home and retire these days. No. Go back to the cemetery. And so he probably would. Anyway, I digress. So getting back to my friend who was telling me about these flashes, and she's like, well, you do realise why there are no flashes around at the moment. You do realise that? And I was like, no. She's like, well, it's you. It's your demographic. Slightly jaded, 40-something-year-old people should be, these are the ones that should be flashing at the moment, and they're not. So you better get onto the internet and try to work something out. And I was like, this is my calling. This is my destiny. If I'm going to leave some kind of legacy, it's going to be this. So I got onto Google and I started having a tap, and wouldn't you know it, University of Birmingham was offering a course It was a Masters in Public Exposure. But unfortunately, they trialled it at the Selly Oak campus, which is full of 20-year-olds, and 20-year-olds spoil everything. So they cancelled it. But all is not lost because the Wheelie Castle campus of Newman University picked it up, and now it's oversubscribed. I don't know if you've been to Wheelie Castle. It is a beautiful castle. Sponsored by Greggs now, I think. So I went online and I started filling out the form. You've got to kind of put in what it is you're going to research if you get onto this course. And so I started thinking about it. I was typing in and I was like, okay, well, I'm interested in all about the variables of peripherals. Okay, so that sounds very technical, but actually it's essentially just whether I hold an erect penis in my hand or a stick. And so we're going to play this as an audience. We're going to do a 0 to 5. 0 if you are not offended at all. 5 if you're absolutely offended. So if you turned around the corner and you saw a flasher and they showed you their erect penis, show me on your hands. Show me on your hands. Didn't rehearse that one. Yeah, exactly. Right. What if it was a latex-based dildo, though? Okay, show me on your hands. Right. What about if it was a stick? Right. A finger? Okay, so you get the idea. Right. So then the other one that I was going to propose is facial expressions as well. Like, you get flashed and it's an angry face. Okay, that's quite intimidating, isn't it? What if it's a sad face and they're crying? Life choices, job choices, career choices. So that is the proposal. The other thing that you need to do is you need to set your filters as to who you will and won't flash. Okay, I'm going to give you a few seconds just in your mind to think about who you individually would or wouldn't flash, because this is, it's a deal breaker for me, really. So I thought, okay, no babies, obviously, because they're just not going to get it, are they? No toddlers, no children, no one under the age of 21. No one actually in that 20-year-old bracket, just because they'll whinge about it so much, you never hear the end of it. No women or gender minorities. Non-binary people, thank you. Who else? No people in an ethnic minority within a particular demographic. And I know that's a bit technical, but it really depends on where you live. No NHS workers. No service staff members, but that excludes taxi drivers and bus drivers, because I feel like it's a rite of passage to expose yourself to both of those careers. No elderly. No one who has any additional needs, whether they are physical, emotional, or learning. I think that's a bit unfair. And anyway, so at the end of all of this, Newman University prints you out a list of the target audience who you can legally go and flash and have no moral or ethical repercussions. Do you want to know who I got?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so if you are a banker, real estate agent or politician, give me a yell, because I'll meet you behind at the dumpsters after this. The other really great thing, and they don't have to do this because it's a free thing to go online and fill all this information out, is that they print out specific celebrities that you're allowed to, and they don't necessarily fit the criteria. I got my printout today, and don't be surprised if I'm really shocked to read these out, because it's a big surprise to me. No, I printed them out before I came. See, that's what the Polly Pocket was for. Right, okay. Some are not a shock, others may come as a surprise. J.K. Rowling, not a surprise. Jacob Rees-Mogg, also not a surprise. Suella Braverman, also not a surprise. Very political, these ones. I mean, not surprising. Right, here we go. This one might come as a surprise. Paul McCartney. Does anyone remember when he tried to peddle his contemporary art? Oh. Right. Madonna, but post bedtime stories. There's been no music that she's released that's been any good post bedtime stories, and I will fight you for it. Oh, this is a controversial David Attenborough.
Oh.
I heard you, but you all know that all of those current documentaries are deep fakes, right? I mean, literally, he comes up with 7 different brand new things every episode. It's like, I'm calling bullshit on that, David. I'm calling bullshit. Santa. There have been red flags for years. Let's just lock the bastard up. Or flush him. You know, he deserves it. Right, last one here. Oh, Joe Lycett. Only because I just want to expose myself to him. Thank you, that's all I've got.
Absolutely brilliant. Maxx, gentlemen. Brilliant.